My name is Dale Blasingame. I'm a senior lecturer here at Texas State University. This is my 4th year here on the faculty, and I teach in our digital media sequence. I have a TV news background, so I came from Texas State, graduated from here in 1999. I worked in news for about a decade, first in radio for a year and then TV for 9 years. And I was a producer of the 10 o'clock newscast for many of those years. So when I came to grad school, I originally thought I was going to come here and study more traditional TV news type topics. And it was actually this program, the South by Texas State program, that changed all of that for me. I mean, there are so many great memories. The most important memory, probably not, may not necessarily be my favorite memory, but the most important memory was I remember walking up to Dr. Cindy Royal on the first evening of the project. So it was my first day. Back then we only got to go to one day. We might be able to go to a second day if we could get an extra pass. I remember going up to her after that first day, and I think my only words were, "This changes everything." And it was at that moment, I tell people South by changed my life. This project changed my life. I knew everything I was going to do from that point on was going to have a digital focus, no matter what it was. And so that was probably the most important moment that happened during South by and the project. But so many great memories. Like I always tell the story of going up an escalator, and I noticed Craig Newmark from Craigslist standing right at the edge of the escalator, and I tweeted really quickly that, "Hey, that's Craig. He has a list." I didn't use his username, didn't use Craigslist. He must have had a filter on to search for people searching for his name. By the time I got to the top of the escalator, he had tweeted me back and said, "Turn around and come say hi." So I went right back down the escalator and went back and waved to him and shared a little moment like that. I've made so many great friends over the years at South by. That first project, one of the first panels I went to was on blogging, which that tells you how long ago it was when I first went to South by. But I was sitting next to this guy who we were on the floor because the room was packed, and he started kind of asking me some questions of what I thought of the panel and stuff like that. And I noticed he was writing everything down. And finally I stopped and I said, "Who are you?" And he ended up being the tech editor for USA Today. So South by Texas State ended up being in the USA Today the next day. And he and I are still great friends to this day. I traveled to San Francisco to see him last year, and we meet up every year at South by. So it's all about those serendipitous moments, I think, that make South by great. Hugh Forrest preaches that when he talks to our students about embracing the serendipity of South by and stopping and embracing those weird little connection moments that happen so frequently throughout the conference. I am incredibly excited and honored to be speaking at my first South by event this year. I'm hosting a panel called Teaching Tech Outdoors, and it's a Future 20 panel, which means it's 20 minutes, kind of quick in and out panel talking about my mobile storytelling in the park class, where I take undergrad students, get them out of their comfort zone of just sitting in a classroom or lecture style learning, and we take them to state parks and get them to produce content for Texas Parks and Wildlife. So I'm going to be focusing on anxiety and learning opportunities in this experimental space with that. I presented on this at a conference in New York City early fall, and it'll be a little bit different now because I'll have another class under my belt. So that was all data from my first class, which was last spring. I'm currently teaching the same class again, and we're actually going to the park this weekend. So I'll have a whole new set of data to incorporate with that. But really, I've written so much about this. I've had a couple published articles on this, and it sounds stupid, but I think I've kind of carved a niche out as the parks professor, which is really cool. And so it's nice to actually get up in front of crowds and be able to talk about these cool things. Because anytime you talk about, I teach this class where I take students to state parks, it gets everyone's attention. So, and we're actually getting ready to expand it to where we're taking them to national parks as well. So just getting out there and talking about the types of classes we have here and the cool stuff that we're doing, the innovative stuff we're doing, here at Texas State, you know, that's always a passion of mine.